It's so intense. Joining me now is actress and director Shiri Appleby. I now realize why all of my producers on our show are obsessed with your show. It's, as you said to me before, it's a reflection of them.
Yeah, it's actually a television show that's showing their life and showing characters that look like them and act like them.
In a way that resonates, right? Because sometimes these things miss the mark. This is pretty spot on.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, we're trying to tell an honest story about what it's like behind the scenes of a reality show.
Which is kind of the thing in the world these days, right?
Reality shows.
Reality shows that aren't very real.
Well, no, given the way that our show is made and the story that our show is telling, you realize that these shows are as fictitious as so many scripted dramas.
Okay, so the show is hot and it's really cool,
Yeah.
but here's another reason why I'm really excited about this. Because it's girl power.
Thank you.
There are 3 creators of the show, and already this season, I believe 4 of the episodes have been directed by women.
Yeah, we had 4 female directors, 2 male directors this season. I direct episode 6, tonight's episode, but it was really interesting just having so many female voices.
Sure.
And seeing how differently people could tell the stories. But it was just really wonderful having so many women around.
So now for you,
Yes.
so you're a star of the show, a major role in this story.
Yes.
That's a lot to focus on, Shiri. How could you then divide your time and say, sure, I'd love to be a director as well? I mean, honestly, that's a lot, no?
I've been acting professionally since I was 3 years old, so I grew up on set.
you've been doing it.
Yeah, I've been doing it a really long time, and I secretly give advice and help direct anyways when you're the star of the show. A lot of it is on your shoulders. And I really relish the opportunity to just have a larger voice.
He's been in the music industry for 2 decades. I'm delighted that he was able to take time out of his busy schedule to be with me here in studio. This is such a delight to meet you, my dear. How are you?
It's nice to meet you too.
I was grilling you on how much sleep you got last night.
Yeah.
Because this pace, I don't want to give away the documentary because I want to push people to it, but the pace that you have held up for 6 months, in a 6-month period, you did something like 160 shows. What's the fuel in your tank?
It's, well, I always connect with people at the shows. And that, at the end of the day, that's really the drive. It's like connecting with more and more people in a genuine way, too. It's not just like looking out, seeing a ton of people, and it's more about like focusing on that individual in the front that really gets your music or singing along to your songs. And, you know, it reminds me of when I first started playing in front of like 10 people.
So Hugh Jackman has once again pranked Ryan Reynolds. This time, Jake Gyllenhaal joins in the fun. Reynolds Instagrammed these photos. He said the guys told him it was an ugly Christmas sweater party. So he came dressed in a beautiful gold ribbon sweater. The others, they wore just regular shirts. Reynolds and Jackman have had a history of trolling each other on Twitter. Good fun there.
You are not going to win this.
Billions will die unless you help us.
That's from the new Marvel film Aquaman. It hits theaters today. CNN entertainment reporter Chloe Molas is here. And Chloe, you got a chance to sit down with the cast. What have they been telling you about the film?
First of all, I saw the movie, and it is so good. I'm not really into the whole, action, Marvel, DC Comics universe, but I'm telling you, this movie is so good, and you don't have to have seen any of the others to understand what's going on. And Jason Momoa, what a hunk. I've always wanted to interview him. I've had the biggest crush on him since Game of Thrones, and I was so upset when his character was killed off, and I told him that, and he was laughing. But yeah, he talked to me all about playing Arthur Curry and being Aquaman. Take a listen.
This movie looks like it would be so much fun to be a part of. It just, in the movie, you see yourself kind of smiling and kind of breaking down that third wall a little bit, and you just look like you're having so much fun.
Yeah.
Was it just as much fun as it seems?
No. He's a rascal. It was fun. There's definitely moments where, she's jumping out of a plane and you're like, you make up silly lines and improv. But yeah, I mean, you have to have fun with it. I mean, it's an action adventure, and it is. It's that fantasy that we're going to this whole nother world and just seeing it through kids' eyes. You know what I mean? Like when Arthur first goes down there, you gotta fully commit, even though it's just a blue room. You're like, wow. And then when you see it, which I haven't yet, but I mean, that's gonna be pretty amazing seeing the Kraken at the end, right?
Do you have a plan for...
I do, because my babies are, they were with me when I made it, and so they're 10 and 11, and I just think that would be the coolest thing to watch it with them.
We actually saw him bringing his children to the premiere of the movie. So awesome, and he's such a great guy. But also, fun fact, they filmed all this movie in CGI, in studios. And so I asked him, were you guys ever underwater ever? He's like, no, we never shot anything underwater, but they do hose you down, so you are really wet for those wet and dry scenes, but the magic of CGI. But I also got a chance to talk to Amber Heard, who plays Mira, and she was such a strong person to interview, and she was so beautiful and so kind. Here's what she had to say.
You're so good in this movie, and you're obviously reprising the role that you played in Justice League. What is your favorite part about playing Mira?
She's strong, she has agency, and she lets nothing stop her. And that will and that resolve is something that I really appreciate seeing. Oh, and that she's also just happens to be a woman. Love that I can do both, which is a rare gift and an opportunity in this industry.
You guys all have a lot of options of what to see this weekend in theaters. Not only is there Aquaman, there's also Mary Poppins, and I shared my Emily Blunt interview earlier this week with her. So you got 2 great movies to see this weekend.
Awesome, Chloe, great job. And I know you were sweating when you were interviewing Momoa because you said you had a crush on him.
I know, so much.
Probably fanning yourself.
Sorry to my husband.
Chloe Melas, thank you.
Thanks.
Well, if you're a fan of shows like The Real Housewives, Vanderpump Rules, and Flipping Out, then you're very familiar with Andy Cohen. Last night, he made a big announcement about a huge change happening in his life.
If all goes according to plan, in about 6 weeks' time, I am going to become a father. Thanks to a wonderful surrogate who is carrying my future. Family means everything to me, and having one of my own is something that I have wanted in my heart for my entire life.
I don't know you, Andy, but I have a feeling you'd be a great dad. We told the baby.